Good evening, everybody. This is Reverend Richard James. I am a chaplain manager at Advocate Christ Medical Center, where I supervise about 18 staff chaplains. And so I say good evening to you on this cold and snowy day. And hopefully everybody is doing well and warm and comfortable and can just begin to take a deep breath and collect ourselves from any traveling we've been doing in the last 20 minutes, such as I. Good evening. What I'd like to do is to just give us a chance to firmly plant our feet down onto the ground and to close your eyes and take a deep breath. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. So today I'd like to share with you the topic. Let me get myself together here so I'm seeing the meeting. Got it. Okay. A topic entitled Surviving and Thriving During the Holidays, Navigating Your New Normal. It's the holiday season. We just finished up with Thanksgiving, and we're about to roll on into Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And all of us are, in one way or another, after you get a certain age, we're all grieving something, whether it is a person, whether it is a pet, whether it is a thing, or whether it is a job, whether you lost your wallet or your purse or something of value. When loss occurs, human beings grieve. And so we're going to be talking about that. So I'm going to move to the next slide here. And so the invitation tonight is this. As you carry the burdens of your grief during this holiday season, we are inviting you into a meaningful discussion about the challenges and hidden blessings of navigating your new normal. We want to provide an experiential opportunity to support one another in our grief. Also, we want to identify those challenges, those hidden blessings or surprises that occur during our grieving process. Now, let me explain a little bit. Just because we are able to identify a blessing, I'm not trying to project that the loss happened because we were meant to be blessed in a certain way. Rather, loss is a part of the life human condition. And that in spite of loss, new blessings or new growth can happen. Not that we lose so we can gain, but the fact is we lose in life. Things like loved ones, people, our mother, our father. And as we grieve, it is possible, though oftentimes painful, to grow from that experience. And we're going to be talking about that together. And so this is my dog that is trying to accost me here. So Dakota, go play with mommy. Go play with mommy. Excuse me, Vicky. Can we put this on pause for a second? Okay, so we're going to move past the objectives we just shared. And I want you to know that I'm talking about grief, both as a process and as a journey together. Most people are familiar with the grief process or cycle, where you go from denial to anger to bargaining to sadness to acceptance. And when that first came out, written by Elizabeth Ross, after several years, she came back and she said, well, I didn't mean it as a process like 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5, but rather a person could move back and forth between those 5 stages. And so I want to lift up this idea of journey, which some theorists lift up as a certain kind of a process where you are journeying and you can experience all of these phases. And it's not so much that you're going to a destination, but you are continuing to feel, to think, to adjust certain dimensions in your life in ways where you have the opportunity to integrate and create new meaning. That is how that's my notion of this thing called grieving process. And I want to lift up an art form. It's called Kinzuki. And it's really a Japanese art form where it moves from the breakage of a pot, and then its repair or bringing the pieces together. And then they use a gold leaf and they bond the pieces together. And then you have the form again in its whole form, but different, imperfect, but with much character. So I want to lift this image up for us to imagine, to have something for us to talk about the movements of our grief processes and experiences. This comes out from a legend where there was a king who broke a favorite pot while on the battlefield, sent it back home to be repaired. They sent it back and it had these little staples on it and it didn't look good at all. And so they redid it and they came up with this process. And so I'd like to invite us, if we can, to pause and just let's connect as a group first about where are we at during this holiday season and what kinds of losses have we experienced. Hello, Ross, are you there?
I am here, yes.
Okay, so you paused the tape, right?
I have it going now. Would you like me to stop it for a moment?
Well, if I don't mind if you keep it going, but I'm just asking for some participation from the group. Let's take some time to connect. Where are we in our own grief situations and during this holiday season?
For purposes of confidentiality, I will go ahead and pause until we're done with this segment.
Oh, okay. Okay, so now we're going to move to the next slide. And the next slide is an image of a heart. And it is a stone piece of artwork. So I want you to imagine it in its completeness when it was all one piece. And then all of a sudden, right here, it dropped and it broke. That's sort of like representing our experience of the loss of a loved one, the loss of a job, or the loss of something we really love. Whatever it is that you love, whatever is of value to you once lost, it is human nature to grieve. And so if you go up a little bit in terms of this art form that I just spoke about, here is the beginning effort of trying to bring those pieces together. And to say what fits with what parts broke. Can it go back together? I am sort of like remembering that nursery rhyme, Humpty Dumpty had a great fall. It is about examining the pieces. How have I changed? And so here in this third photograph is the effort to integrate the pieces back together again. In all, even though somewhat damaged, even though somewhat transformed in a shocking way, trying to bring things back together, trying to figure out how do I fit back together and where do I fit and how do I fill that void? Do I feel it? Can I feel it? And then if we go all the way to the right, you'll see they take this kind of a certain kind of material which bonds the pieces together. And its appearance is obvious that something has happened and something has been mended together. But it has a certain kind of character to it. It's not the same. It's still beautiful, perhaps even more beautiful. But to say the least, it has character. It has a little additional story to it. And so I'd like to pause here and to invite us to talk about our grief, referencing these different photographs, if you will. Okay, moving right along to the next slide here. So we're talking about the holidays, and perhaps you have the holiday blues, or maybe you don't, or maybe that might happen. And we're having this conversation as a springboard into the new year. We want to begin to talk about what is the coming year? How am I going to engage the coming year? During the holidays, one of the biggest challenges is trying to do the same rituals, whatever they may be. Maybe it's a family gathering, a family dinner gathering, or maybe it's a trip to see family on the other side of the nation or something. And the things that we used to celebrate the holidays, given the fact that we are grieving in some way, sometimes those things don't fit together in the same way. And sometimes when the holidays come, we want to celebrate them the same way we did, although we can't, but we're trying to sort of kind of force the celebration, or we're trying to be at every celebration. The point here is it's helpful to manage our expectations of ourselves and others, or fulfilling the expectations of others, to give ourselves some grace and to say, no, I don't need to be at that thing. I'm not going to isolate myself, but I'm just going to, kind of taper things down a bit, give myself some time to think, to feel, to process, to engage, to remember, and so forth. And so I want to pause here and just get a sense of where we are at with the holidays and our anticipation of the new year. Okay, so we've had some discussion about the holidays in terms of Christmas and so forth, and the coming new year. We're going to move forward to this. Your loss is a journey. Oops, I'm sorry. Your loss is a journey. And so you want to ask yourself, well, am I engaging my situation as a journey? And am I okay wherever it is that I'm at, whatever it is that I'm feeling, the kinds of thoughts that I'm having? Am I okay? Can I just live in the moment with that and continue to go forward? That's the sense that we're trying to project. And so some people have already shared that they have found some good company in this support group. And that's what is nice to have when you can get that, whether you can get it from support groups or you can get it from friends. Some people find good company in the presence of the one that that they believe in, or a higher power. And some expressions are found in scripture. And I'm not really trying to evangelize anybody here, but I just want you to get the sense of good company in this expression that comes out of Psalms 23, verse 4. It reads, "Yea," or yes, "though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me," or because you are with me. That connotes David's sense of his God that he served as being there right by him for the journey, good company for the journey. There is another piece of scripture that people find some comfort in. And I'm not trying to evangelize here. I'm going to lift up the scripture, but I'm going to pull the essence of it out. And that is in Jeremiah 18, 1 through 6. Jeremiah, who's a prophet, was instructed to go down to the potter's house, a place where they were making clay pots, the potter was, as an expression about the state of society at that time, Israel and so forth. So he says, go down to the potter's house, and there I will cause you to hear my words. So he goes down to the potter's house, and he sees the potter working on a wheel with a clay, and he's pushing it with his feet to make it turn and so forth. But all of a sudden, the clay is marred in the hands of the potter. So then the potter makes it again into a new vessel. And then Jeremiah hears the voice of God saying, "Cannot I do with you, O house of Israel, as the potter does with the clay?" So what I want to pull out of here is the possibility for ongoing transformation. Even as I carry the burden of my loss, the reality of my loss, I can continue to be transformed toward a new form, toward something that is possible and positive. And so I'm going to move to the next slide. And so I ask this question: despite loss and pain, can something beautiful come out of our brokenness? I say yes. New beauty and character can blossom out of brokenness, out of loss, out of suffering. Even our imperfection can be seen as and experienced as something beautiful. And so just as earlier there, let me get rid of this thing, just as we began with that art form of repairing pots, all of us grieve in different ways, but it is possible to become whole again with renewed purpose and meaning. And so I want to pause. We're going to pause here, but I want to wish you blessings for you as you grieve in healthy ways. And so let's pause and just talk for a bit. Okay, so we have been able to talk and spend time with each other and talk about our challenges, our triumphs over the challenges, the manner in which we have carried burden and found ways to make the burden lighter, found ways to embrace that which we hoped for. And we found ways to take the brokenness and make sense of the brokenness and adjust, bringing the pieces together, maybe not the same way, but to evolve and to become new again, in a sense, as we continue our journey. And so we want to just take a moment and just recognize all of those individuals that participated in this gathering. And I want you to know that I'm lifting you up. I am praying for you, and I am hoping for you, and I believe in you. Keep on keeping on and keep making gold out of the imperfections of this thing we call life, the ups and downs, the twists and turns. The beauty that you have shared with us, I celebrate. Bless you. Have a great evening and a brand new year after these holidays.
And thank you again. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. This is our final Gilda's presentation of 2022. So come join us in 2023, and we hope to keep things rolling for everybody.
Thank you. Happy holidays to you, Ross.
Happy holidays to all of you as well. Take care, everyone.
Happy
Bye-bye.
holidays, everybody.
Happy holidays. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.